Janice! Janice! Janice, come take a look at this. Kevin, what are you doing there?
Watching the fire.
Go out and play, Kevin.
What will I do?
There's a million things to do. Go out and throw the football.
Who to?
How do I know who to? Bounce it off a wall or something.
I'd rather watch the fire.
Janice, Kevin is sitting in front of the fireplace with that silly mask on again.
He likes to watch the fire.
Ah, what does he see in the damn fire?
Tell your father what you see in the damn fire, dear.
Castles and soldiers and fairies.
Fairies? You think when Joe Namath was 6 years old, he sat around watching fairies in a fireplace?
Dear, why don't you go out and wait for Nana? You can watch the fire later.
Okay.
Did you see the detour he took to get past me?
Dog does the same thing. What did you call me about?
Ah, well, what do you think of it? I think the tailor got the lapels just right.
Those shoulders of yours make anything look good.
They do, huh? You kind of like John Francis, do you?
I kind of love John Francis.
Honey, why don't we send Leona to the market and let Kevin go to a movie?
Oh, honey, we don't have time. I have to do the bathrooms, and if we take the phone off the hook, you're liable to miss that call from Wilmington.
What call from Wilmington?
Well, they called when you were in the shower.
You mean you let me go through this whole thing with Kevin and the mask and the fireplace and the lapels? Why didn't you call me to the telephone?
Because I didn't want you running naked past Leona just to talk to operator 227. Wilmington's calling back at 4 o'clock.
I know what it is. It's cutbacks. I knew this would happen the minute that damn fascist government of ours made us quit polluting the Delaware River.
Johnny, every time Wilmington calls, you freak right out. Now, come on.
Mr. O'Connell? Oh, excuse me.
It's all right, Leona.
How would it be if I dropped Kevin off at the movies and I did some marketing? Whole thing would take me a good 2 hours.
Leona, did you want something?
I thought you'd like a drink while you waited for the bad news from Wilmington.
Leona, we don't drink during the week.
Oh, I forgot. Confessions on Saturday, Mass on Sunday, and no booze Monday through Friday. Praise the Lord.
She's been on the extension. I'll tell you one thing, when I get fired, the first thing to go will be that fugitive from the FBI.
Johnny, why do you insist you're getting fired? Maybe Woody and Marsh are just coming out for a visit and they want you to meet the plane.
In this suit?
5 minutes ago, you loved it. You said it was fine.
You call wall-to-wall lapels fine? When they want to get rid of a guy, they'll use any excuse. Look what happened to Vic McCloud.
That is a different thing entirely.
You know your problem, Janice? You don't know a parallel when you see one. His division had a real rotten first quarter. They sent for him to come back to Wilmington. Did he play it smart, show a little humility? Not Vic. He walks into the most important meeting of his life wearing an Edwardian jacket, a wide paisley tie, and silver buckles on his stupid shoes.
Oh, the unthinking clock.
It's a damn serious thing. And where is poor Vic now? Up in Anchorage, Alaska, freezing his butt off.
John, he was sent to Anchorage because he drank.
The silver buckles started it. How about Howard Kelsinger?
Well, he was fired because he goosed somebody's wife at a Christmas party.
Yes, but he was wearing a sports jacket when he did it.
Johnny, sit down.
No, Janice, I worry better on my feet. I show up in a suit like this and the company will think I'm taking a cavalier attitude towards the whole recession.
John.
Janice, will you call the phone company and have them unshrill that instrument? Hello? Father Mitchell. Missed you at the Cardinals' dinner the other night? He was very happy with the building fund. Huh? Well, why don't you drop by any time and we'll discuss it. Make it tonight. Come for supper. Then come after supper. Whatever you say, Father. God bless you, too. there's anything I can't stand, it's a pushy priest.
John, you are not making any sense at all. With all your problems, why are you getting tangled up in the church's building fund?
You've got to play every angle. Maybe I can get His Eminence to use a little muscle on the company. DuPont sells the church a lot of paint, you know.
John, come here and sit down. I said sit down.
Maybe Woody got hit because I outdrove him playing golf. No, it's deeper than that. It's prejudice. It's a Protestant company. If Kennedy hadn't made it popular to be a Catholic, I'd be lucky getting in sweeping up defective cellophane.
Dear Abby, I kiss and he talks. He talks and I kiss. Shouldn't we both be kissing? Signed, Wondering.
I know what it is.
Right, it's called a wife. Wind it up and it shares a life with you.
It was on number 10. When Marsh asked me which club he should use, I said, why don't you hit it with your lavalier?
John, this is absolute nonsense. You are not getting fired and you are not getting transferred. They're just coming out here for a visit or something. So let's stop getting hysterical.
You're right. You're usually right, honey. Oh, my God.
What?
My mother. What are we going to tell her when she gets here? The first thing she'll do is sell them in coat, and then the rings will go next. At her age, that saintly woman will get down on her knees and scrub floors for us.
John, I love your mother, but don't call her a saint. She wouldn't like it.
Oh? Grace happens to be a daily communicant. She's past president of the Altar Society. She's a member of the Third Order of St. Francis and is entitled to be buried in a habit. And you stand there and say my mother isn't a saint? You ought to do a little penance or go on a retreat or something.
Wouldn't it be easier if I just walked on the freeway? John, your mother is coming down from San Francisco. Let's have a nice weekend. Let's forget Woody, Marsh, DuPont, the whole thing, right?
Right. They're not going to fire a 10-year man.
There's my Johnny. Where are you going?
To the tailor's. I'll fix that garlic-eating giddy for trying to ruin me with the company.
Grover, stop arguing with your mom and go back to your patients. No, I didn't give Mrs. O'Connell my notice. I keep telling you I like working. Well, here's what you tell your children. Tell them their grandma's a household consultant. Oh, so what's the big deal about a doctor's mama working anyhow? How do you know Ralph Nader's mother wasn't a maid? Oh, Grover, I gotta ask you not to tie up the phone. I've got a call coming in from Wilmington that may decide my entire future. Grover, save your breath. You might need it for mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Mama, Nana's here. Grandma, did you bring a surprise?
I certainly did,
Is it something I can play with?
when I get it all put together.
Grace! We could have met the plane.
Oh, no, you're all so busy. And besides, I like to talk to taxi drivers. They're more expensive than psychiatrists, but the first quarter of a mile is free.
Nana brought a surprise.
Oh, Grace, you shouldn't have.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Kevin, you're a strong little fellow, and you can take my bags up to my room, right?
Sure, Nana. Thanks for not telling me how much I've grown.
Oh, at my age, who needs a giant grandson? Is Johnny home?
Oh, he's in his San Francisco certainly agrees with you.
Well, who said San Francisco agreed with me?
But Mother, you didn't even tell us you were married. It's such a surprise.
Get ready for another surprise.
Mother, no.
Yes, it's a fellow I've been dating in San Francisco. He's really quite sweet. race, I'd be at the 3/4 pole.
Hi, Mrs. O'Connell. I threw together a little something for you.
How sweet, Leona. How's Grover?
Fine. He's so successful now, he's thinking of turning Republican. There, this will pop your eardrums for you.
Thanks anyway. I had tea on the plane.
Not like this, you didn't. This tea's got an olive in it.
Why, Leona?
Only way I can think of, you can have a drink and stay in good with your son.
She's right. There's the olive. And there's the gin. You know, Janice, I'm really quite encouraged. I don't think she noticed Junior.
She noticed.
You know, with this extra baggage, I suddenly am quite tired and I'd like to go up to my room and rest.
Sure.
Janice, what do you think Johnny's going to say?
Well, maybe he won't take it too hard.
Well, I hope not, but on the way down on the plane, I had pictures of a hospital, me in maternity, and Johnny in the intensive care ward.
Oh, he's right about that thing. Hello? Oh, he's not here right now. May I take a message? Oh, he wasn't expecting the call until 4. All right. It's nice talking to you again, too, operator. Bye-bye.
Well, I told that kitty where to head in. Where's the Italian dictionary?
John, your mother's here.
Good. Did you have a nice trip?
I guess you could say that.
I thought that's what he said. They shouldn't let Pall Mall people like that into the country.
You told him off. You told him off. Why didn't he take the suit back?
That's besides the point.
Naturally. John Wilmington just called.
Oh, my God. How long ago? What did they say? Did you get any friendly vibes?
I think the operator and I are getting emotionally involved.
You know, Janice, it's only my religious upbringing that keeps me from belting you.
You do, and I'll have Father Mitchell turn you into a Protestant.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. How do I look? Hello? No, this is not Kevin, and I do not have your roller skates, and you will not bust my ass. Janice, will you call that kid's mother and set him straight? Where's my inhaler?
Well, who was the kid?
Mary Ellen Cooper.
Mary Ellen Cooper.
You think that's funny? Suppose my mother came down and answered the phone, and some kid told that dear, sweet woman that she was going to bust her ass.
John, I'd like to talk to you about your mother.
This one's about had it.
Your mother. Maybe...
Don't touch it. I'll get it. I'll get it. Hello? Yes, operator, speaking. Hello, Woody. How's things? Marcia's on too. Marcia's on too. Hey, Marsh boy. How's the family? Good, good. Listen, fellas, I know you're a little disappointed in our last quarter, but
What is it? Is it good news?
Up to $1,800 for the funeral? Guys, I can't tell you how deeply that touches me. The right to be buried in the cemetery of my choice.
Well, they can't kill you for having a bad quarter.
What joke? No, I haven't heard it. Funny. Beautiful, beautiful. Right. Glad to be aboard, guys. I'll see you in a couple days, Woody. Right. Bye.
Well?
Janice O'Connell, you are no longer married to a mere mortal. The creature standing before you is John Francis, Vice President of DuPont. From now on, you will rush into my arms by appointment only. I told you something was up before that call came. Didn't I tell you before that call came something was up?
You certainly did. You made quite a speech about it.
You know, this makes me the youngest vice president in the history of the company. I've really got it made now. The inner sanctum. You know how I know?
How?
On the phone just now, Marsh told me a dirty joke.
He did it.
Used the big F and everything. Thank God we're clean.
Clean?
Baby, they don't make you a VP without investigating you thoroughly. Past, present, and future. We've been under the glass for weeks.
Oh? John, there's something you should know.
I can just see your mother in that Pasadena crowd of hers. I dropped a couple of it's under the couch there somewhere.
I can't find your cufflink.
It's under there somewhere. By the way, how's my mother?
She's at the 3/4 pole. John, there's something I'd like to tell you.
There's something I have to tell you, too. If a certain maid doesn't start cleaning up under the furniture, she's not going to be around here for long.
Janice, I couldn't rest. I just kept worrying about Johnny. He's so icky proper. How am I ever going to tell him that I'm pregnant as a goat?
You just did.
I did. Where is he?
In front of the couch. Don't bother to look. He's probably dead. John, dear, it's true. Your mother's pregnant.
Oh, brother.
There's a 50-50 chance.
I get it.
No, you don't.
Mother, anybody else would have sent out wedding announcements. My age is going to be a little strange getting used to calling somebody Dad.
That's one problem you're not going to have.
Are you telling me that my own mother is about to become an unwed mother?
He's always had such a way with words.
Mother, did you report it?
Report what?
The rape!
John, it was nothing like that. Your mother met a man and apparently they got along well together.
We met in a bar. Not that kind of a bar. It was at the top of the mark.
Well, you have to admit that is a respectable place.
And I've been seeing him pretty steadily now for almost a year. John, you like him. He's really very sweet. Who are you phoning?
I'm taking the next plane to Frisco.
What are you going to do there?
I'm going to kill your lover. And then I'm going to sue the top of the mark!
Grover? It's Mama again. Guess who just got pregnant? Oh, you doctors have such dirty minds. It's not me. It's his saintly mother. No, the sweet thing's not married. Oh, it was a bombshell. I just finished serving him the world's quietest dinner. Well, they didn't want to talk in front of the boy, but you know kids, they absorb this kind of stuff right through the pores. Grover, will you knock off with me quitting? I wouldn't quit here now for anything. We got a double feature going. We're giving a luncheon for the DuPont broads on Friday, and his mom was pregnant. Ooh, something tells me the two aren't gonna mix. Oh, I don't know what he's gonna do about it, Grover. Right now, he's about to start one of his meetings. Oh, honey, in this family, they have a meeting if they change underwear.
John, can't we ever do anything without a meeting?
This is the way we handle things for DuPont. We originate by committee and we solve by committee.
Swell, but your mother didn't get knocked up by committee.
Don't you use those words about my saintly mother.
I wonder what you would say if it was my saintly mother.
Your mother's a rich Protestant atheist.
Thank you.
Don't get lofty, Janice. It doesn't become you. Now, we have a problem here, but we cannot panic. I'm sure it will turn out that my mother is an innocent victim of circumstances, but we cannot allow it to get back to the home office. We have to realize how the company would look upon my mother's condition.
Somewhere between Vic the Cloud's Buckles and Howard Kelsinger's Goose?
Janice, how is it that you always come up with these little jokes in times of crisis?
As Leona says, it beats crime.
Ready for the prisoner of Zenda yet?
Mother, you're taking the wrong attitude. Nobody's condemning you or accusing you of anything. We're all adults here. Now then, I'll sit here, Janice, you sit there.
And I'll sit there in the dark.
Well, here we all are. First, let's look on the brighter side of things. It could be a tumor.
There are 2 dead rabbits in San Francisco, says it, is it?
Oh, well. What's your doctor's name? What's your doctor's name?
Welby.
Dr. Welby. Mother, this is serious. Don't you realize you've committed a mortal sin?
I realize it every time the baby kicks.
Have you been to confession since the top of the mark?
Yes, I went last week.
And what did the priest say?
He said I should be more careful in the future.
My mother is 8 months pregnant, and some left-wing Jesuit sits in a box and tells her to be careful.
He wasn't a Jesuit, he was a Paulist.
They're the worst kind. A good old-fashioned Augustinian would make you shave your head.
I wouldn't mind if it came in curly.
I'll write the bishop and fix that boy's wagon.
John, I thought the important thing was not to let people know.
Right. For mother's sake, nobody must know. Of course, we have to keep it from the company.
For Mother's sake.
Oh, my God. The neighbors. Mother, while you're here, you've just got to stay in your room.
Yes, dear. Just slip my meals under the door and let me out for my nightly jog.
Mother, don't you realize that sin calls for a certain amount of humility?
It also calls for a certain amount of endurance. Oh, is that you, Kevin?
Yes, Nana.
How long have you been there?
I don't know. I can't tell time.
Well, take that silly mask off and get upstairs.
Okay, when do I get my present?
What present?
Nana's gonna give me a present as soon as she gets it all put together.
I'm working on it.
Get to bed. Thank God he's too young to understand the extent of this tragedy.
Tragedy? Really, Johnny, I'm beginning to resent your attitude. I came down here because I thought we could share a common problem, but if you're going to be like this about it, I'll just handle it all by myself. It doesn't affect you at all.
There's your modern thinking for you. Young people today never think of anybody but themselves.
Honey, look at it this way. I'm old enough to be your mother.
Mother, when you were having your moment of pleasure, did you stop to think of what it was doing to me, to Janice, to Kevin, to our position in the community?
Honey, you don't think about indigestion when you're eating pizza?
I like your parallel a lot better than Johnny's.
Janice, I'd like you to stay out of this.
Well, then why did you invite me to this meeting? I'd have to have something to write on my pad.
Mother, I've known you for a long time.
Right.
You know what I mean. Mother, I've always looked up to you. You've always had a sort of spiritual quality, something like Joan of Arc or Irene Dunn.
Joan of Arc?
Irene Dunn.
Janice, I thought I told you to stay out of this. Really, Mother, how could you do this to us?
Johnny, for one thing, I was lonesome.
You were lonesome? Then why couldn't you have gone on a sea voyage or have bought a cat or gotten fat like other old ladies?
Honey, I'm not an old lady. I still have drives and needs and juices.
What kind of talk is that? Are you forgetting that you're my mother?
Make a note of that, Janice.
I have.
Johnny, just because I'm a widow shouldn't mean that I'm to be put on the shelf like a book that served its purpose. I met a man. We were mutually attracted, and one thing led to another.
And just where did this one thing lead to another?
Sometimes at his place, and sometimes at mine.
You mean there was more than once? How many times did you have relations with this man?
Honey, you don't keep score on a thing like that.
John does. The book says a man should have relations with his wife 3 times a week. I had the flu, so we're playing catch-up this month.
And when you were at your place, where did you do it? Right under Papa's picture?
No, dear. Before he arrived, I always put Papa's picture in the closet. Out of respect.
Who is this man?
I'm not going to tell you.
That's my brother in there, and I demand to know the name of our father. Now, what is his name?
Well, he's a painter.
What the hell was a painter doing at the top of the mark?
Maybe he was touching up the ceiling.
Johnny, he's not that kind of painter. He's an artist. He paints portraits.
Are you getting this whole miserable picture, Janice? My mother fell for one of the oldest tricks in the whole history of seduction. She allowed some artist to talk her into posing in the nude.
I didn't pose in the nude. I offered. But he said my fanny was too flat.
You sat in the top of the mark, drinking martinis and discussing your flat fanny in front of all of San Francisco.
DuPont has a branch up there.
I didn't discuss it up there.
Where did you discuss it?
In bed. What's this? What's wrong?
It's all right, he's just having a stroke. He always gets this way.
I can't talk, I'm too upset.
Hello? Yes, he's here.
I am not here.
It's Wilmington.
I'm here. Hello? No, what do you know about her at all? Mother's here from San Francisco. She was just, filling me in on a few things. The luncheon? Oh, don't worry. I'll brief her, thoroughly. No, of course not. No problem at all. Which studio are we using?
It must be after midnight in Delaware.
God never sleeps.
I'll be on the set every second, Woody. Every second. Now, you say hello to Margaret for me, and keep an eye on that hernia of yours. Right. Woody's not coming up. His hernia's acting up.
Now there's a bulletin.
He's concerned about the lunch, and we'll have to go over it in detail later.
Good. Is my trial over?
Mother, if I were in your position, I think I'd show a little humility.
Oh, banana oil.
Banana oil?
Oh, that's something Johnny's father used to say when he was too polite to use the juicy stuff. Banana oil, Johnny!
Mother, for a person your age, you're very immature.
John, why does Woody want you on the set every second? What set?
Well, I'm going to supervise the filming of a very important commercial we're making. Pussy Niblets.
Pussy niblets!
Do you mean to tell me there was a vice president in charge of explosives and a man who would have used the big F to supervise a crappy cat food commercial?
It's a crappy DuPont cat food commercial. There's a difference, you know.
Johnny, you don't know anything about show business. What do they want you to do?
Well, they don't have a cat food division on the West Coast, so they need an executive on the scene to be certain that the actors pronounce DuPont correctly.
Anybody can pronounce DuPont.
No, you see, that's wrong. It's DuPont. It's DuPont. No, a little less P. It's DuPont. DuPont. Mother, you see what you and that oversex painter have done to me? I can't even pronounce DuPont.
Relax, Johnny. Maybe someday you'll have a job with General Motors.
Who is this man?
I'm not going to tell you while you're in this state.
I'm in no state. What is his name?
John, she's not going to tell you till you calm down.
I'm calming down. I'm calming down.
No, you're not. Your nostrils are still flaring.
calm enough for you? I'm practically in a lotus position. Now, what is his name?
Fabrizio Bustamante.
Run that past me again.
Fabrizio Bustamante. I think his middle name is Salvatore. Fabrizio Salvatore Bustamante.
He's Italian.
Well, he ain't sore with the Greek.
I am going to kill him, and no jury in the world will convict me.
Ooh, you're upsetting your mother. She's liable to have the baby right here on your status rug.
No, I'm all right. I just think I better go upstairs and lie down. I'm sorry, Johnny, but somehow I had the idea that you'd be happy at the idea that I was happy.
I'm sorry too, Mother. I'm just very upset. How Italian is he?
Well, he never won any war.
Mother, look, I can understand about the juices and all of that. But why didn't you use the pill?
John, I'm a Catholic.
DuPont. 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 DuPont.
John, I know how you feel about rules, so I made the martinis in teacups.
Okay, just so as Leona doesn't think we're relaxing our principles. DuPont. DuPont.
John, I'm going to say something sacrilegious.
Okay, so long as you get it out of the way before Father Mitchell gets here.
I'm talking about your religion, the company. Haven't you ever wanted to tell the church, the neighbors in DuPont to just shove it?
Well,
You mean you have?
once or twice, late at night.
Then do it.
Oh, come on, Janice.
John, do you love me? Do you love your mother? Then do it.
Janice, a guy doesn't stop being what he is just like that.
You are not being what you are. You're being what you think you should be.
Yeah. Why not? It might be fun at that. But we'll do it up big. We'll invite all the top executives to a party. And I'll wear silver buckles on my shoes. I'll goose a few wives. And I'll tell them all off.
Use the big F and everything.
Right. And you wear a see-through granny dress. And I'll tell them all to shove it.
Father Mitchell is here.
Father Mitchell, how nice to see you.
I hope I didn't pick a bad time for you good people.
No, Father, not at all. We were just having our after-dinner cup of coffee.
And reverting to character.
You each at your holiness?
Yes, Leona, thank you for the thought. And the promotion. John, I brought a list of the donors you mentioned.
Good. Father, I've just been made vice president of DuPont.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks, and it'll give us a little muscle with the parish big shots.
John, at times like these, shouldn't we hit them this hard?
Father, when you're working for the glory of God, you've got to go right for the throat.
What a nice thought for a new parable. Janice, I'd like to say hello to John's mother if she's here. Does San Francisco still agree with her?
Certainly does. I guess you could say she brought some of it back with her.
While she's in town, I'd like to meet Mrs. Tomlinson and Mrs. Mayer. They're widows, too. They probably have a lot in common.
Hope it's not the painter.
The painter, I don't under...
it's not.
Oh, I think I've kicked something under the couch. It looks like a marble.
That's probably the cufflink. I'll get it, Father.
Janice, as I was telling the Cardinal the other day, we need more men like John in this parish. Men with drive. Men of good family.
Mama, Nana wants to know if you have any Pepto-Bismol.
What does Nana need Pepto-Bismol for?
She's throwing up.
Janice, will you please take care of that?
Nana wants to know if you've ever had morning sickness at night.
Come along, Kevin.
They tell you that Grandma's going to have a baby and make me
John? John! John!
Grover, how come you're calling me? I thought you weren't interested in what's going on. Guess everybody loves gossip. Oh, well, it's only normal to want to know the worst about your fellow man. Yeah, something's up. Mr. O'Connell comes sneaking down to the kitchen early this morning and called long distance. I don't know who to. He sent me out in the front room to clean under the sofa. I found a nickel in one cufflink. I figured you could give it to that one-armed patient of yours for Christmas. And they must have caught your sense of humor at medical school. I want to hear what's going on, so I'll call you later, okay? No, they're in the front room having a meeting about his big lunch for those DuPont boxes. Yeah, I'm going to miss the edge of night. But it should be worth it.
There. You got pads and you got pencils. Now, I want you two to go right ahead. I have got to pick out a cat.
It's just a little luncheon for a few women. You've got to pick out some cats.
For the commercial. While you two are working, I'm going to work. I'm staying strictly out of it.
It's pretty simple. We'll call Abbey Rentals and have them set up a tent.
No tent.
No tent.
At a
No
time like
tent.
this, we've got to present those women with a picture of sincerity, devotion, and humble spirituality.
I've got an idea. When they arrive, why don't we have Johnny out on the front lawn baptizing a few neighbors in the bird bath? Janice, I haven't seen you laugh like that since I've come. Is everything all right?
It's fine, Grace, really.
Have you decided what you'll serve?
Johnny, you said you'd leave us alone. Now, butt out.
Right.
How about beef stroganoff?
Too communistic.
No beef stroganoff.
No beef stroganoff. It'll be Friday. Why don't we serve fish?
No fish.
Right. Doesn't pay to be too Catholic. What we need is a good old-fashioned American dish that won't offend anybody.
How about chicken chow mein?
Good thinking, Mother.
Well, that's settled. What are we waiting at this silly table for?
Right.
Ha. I've decided on the gray Persian cat for the commercial. What do you think? What did you decide on the luncheon? Why are you putting the table away?
Swell, chow mein, and we don't need it anymore in that order.
John, you said you'd leave the luncheon to us. Now just leave us alone.
Well, okay. I'm still not sure about the great Persian, though.
I understand they're delicious.
Don't forget you've got a doctor's appointment in half an hour, Mrs. O'Connell.
Thanks, Leona. Janice, don't you think I ought to wait and see my old doctor?
No, Grace, you've been having those pains. Besides, you like old Dr. Baker. The girls all call him old warm fingers.
Well, you sure look pretty this morning. We girls all look our best with a cake in the oven.
Mother, what's in the package?
Honey, can't your mother even receive a package without an inquisition?
It's just a couple of dresses I ordered from a maternity shop.
Oh, no. What will the neighbors think if they see a band from a maternity shop out front?
Relax, Johnny. I had them delivered in a brown, plain, unmarked truck.
Well, I feel a little better now that we've gotten the luncheon off our minds. Have you decided how you seat them?
House chairs for a starter.
Don't get flipped, Janice. You know how important protocol is in the company. Always put chemistry to your right and plastics to your left, and never put paint next to acetate.
Plastics to the left, chemistry to the right. Hi-ho to Dario, you mustn't let him fight.
You know, it's kind of nice to have things under control.
Under control? How are you going to explain your mother to those DuPont women?
What's wrong with a married woman having a baby?
I know you. You don't just toss off a line like that. You've done something.
Right. I sent for Fabergé or whatever his silly name is.
It's Fabrizio. And what would you do a dumb thing like that for? And what are you going to do when he gets here?
What am I going to do? I'm going to have him make an honest woman out of my mother. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw the veil of propriety over this whole sordid situation.
You sound like something right out of Jane Eyre. How are you going to get him to marry your mother?
Appeal to his better nature.
Well, suppose he doesn't have a better nature.
Then I'll kill him.
You're sick.
Yeah. Okay, I'm being a little dramatic. I'm not going to kill anybody. Threaten a little, maybe. Look, Janice, it's the only logical step. The child has got to have a name.
I agree it would be convenient, but it is really none of our business.
Oh? And how am I going to introduce him to Pierre DuPont? Sir, may I present my brother, the bastard?
John!
Why not? And at the same time, you can introduce me as your mother, the adulteress.
How much did you hear?
Just that last little bit of warning. Janice, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm going right back to San Francisco.
Oh, no, Grace, please don't leave. He didn't mean it.
Mother, you can't leave. Janice, tell her she can't leave.
I just did. Every time you get upset, you turn into an hysterical old lady.
She could have put it better. But she's right. Look, Mother, I'm very upset. Please stay.
No. I've brought enough of a burden on you and your scruples and your DuPont.
Please, Mom, please stay.
Well.
Okay, good. Taking a little something with you?
No, it's just something for the doctor's collection.
Huh? Oh! Well, listen, let's not have any more talk about leaving. After all, that's what families are for, to stick together. Mother, would you mind going out through the garage so the neighbors don't see you?
Why don't you take a chance, Johnny? Maybe I can get by as a pregnant Volkswagen.
Leona!
Mr. O'Connell, I heard you talking about the chicken chow mein, and you may as well know right now I ain't wearing no kimono. I'm nobody's Madam Butterfly.
Leona, how is it that you hear everything that goes on in this house?
Through the heat vents. You got more outlets in this place than NBC.
Well, anyway, I'm going upstairs. If a phone call comes in from Wilmington, I'll take it.
Hi, I'm Fabrizio Bustamante.
You couldn't be anybody else.
My God! Does it flush?
Oh, Mr. Bustamante, you're not going to be a breath of fresh air around here. You're going to be a cyclone. Mr. O'Connell, Superman's here.
Leona, did you call?
He's here.
Who's here?
I am.
I don't believe this.
Makes us even. I don't believe this either. Where did you get your art collection? J.C. Penney's?
Something tells me I can sell tickets to this.
Goodbye, Leona. I'm sorry, Mr. Bustamante. We seem to have gotten off on the wrong foot. It's Just that I didn't expect...
Me.
Yes. See, it's just that my mother usually has such good taste.
Hey, listen, she can't do everything right. She had you. Sorry, you're right about us getting off on the wrong foot there. Shall we start over? It's a very nice looking suit.
I'm taking it back.
Naturally. Shall we sit down? I promise not to clash with anything I sit in.
Did you have a nice flight?
No,
It's usually a nice flight from San Francisco.
not when you drive.
Okay, Bustamante, let's dispense with the childish attitudes and get down to why I called you here.
Bustamante, with an M as in, mammary gland.
Mr. Bustamante, we have a very delicate and embarrassing situation here.
Hey, you got an ashtray handy?
We don't smoke in this house. Now then, you are an acquaintance of my mother and have been for some time. We met in San Francisco. As a matter of fact, it was at the top of the mark that you accosted my mother. Mr. Bustamante!
Sorry, you get a lot of use out of this?
As I was saying, it was at the top of the mark that you accosted my mother.
Hey, listen, kid. If smiling at a pretty lady is accosting, then I accost half of San Francisco every day.
Are you trying to make my mother the aggressor in this thing?
Well, we got an Italian saying, love is a menzo proposition, huh?
My mother wouldn't menzo with anybody. You're just trying to clean this thing up with fancy foreign phrases. And another thing, how can you sit there with your legs crossed?
How can I what?
How can you sit there so calm and relaxed in a situation that calls for a tremendous amount of tension?
Can I ask you a question?
You may.
What do you do around here when you got guests that smoke? It's gonna kill the plant.
I don't give a damn about the plant, just don't get any ashes on the carpet.
Hey, I do give a damn about the plant. It's the most beautiful thing in this room. And another thing, kid, I just uncrossed my legs.
Are you threatening me? You don't scare me, Bustamante. And another thing, take that silly beret off.
You know something, kid? You got a lot to learn about entertaining.
You're not here to be entertained. You're here because you took advantage of my mother.
I did not. I never borrowed a nickel from her.
That's evasion. You went up to my poor, lonely mother's apartment and preyed on her innocence with your worldly ways. And then, right under the nose of my dear dead father, you committed a mortal sin. You took a spiritual act and made it something sordid and debasing. You giddy son of a bitch. I'm going to kill you.
Can I help you with that?
It's never done this before.
Well, listen, maybe if I held it, you pulled, huh? It's a nice-looking sword.
It's my grandfather's from the Civil War. Watch it, you don't bend the bracket.
Maybe if we got some oil, huh? Hey, I'm warning you. You puncture me with that thing, I'm gonna bleed all over anything that's handy.
Okay, which one is Errol Flynn?
No, I'm not going to make a martyr out of him.
Thanks, Leona.
Cream or sugar?
Black. What's he gonna do now? Kill me with the card table?
Something worse. You're gonna have a meeting.
Mr. O, while I got you here, I have to call the butcher. Do you want chicken in the chicken chow mein or pork in the chicken chow mein?
What?
For the DuPont broads on Friday.
They are not the DuPont broads. They are the wives of division heads. And we will have chicken in the chicken chow mein.
Just so I know. I was right the first time. I could have sold tickets.
Hey, okay, kid. I'll admit, I've been having a little fun with you, but I can see you're pretty uptight about this whole thing. I mean, you want to talk or something? After all, you aren't Rosella's kid.
I prefer to wait until they come home. I want to keep this thing on a committee level. Rosella?
Oh, yeah, that's Italian for Grace. That's my pet name for your mama.
I suppose she has a pet name for you.
Oh, sure, it's Gallo Anchioso. That name...
I don't want to know.
DuPont, 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 DuPont.
Well, the music ain't bad, but I heard better lyrics.
That's my voice on tape. I put the correct pronunciation down so that the actors will be sure to get it right. It's called the subliminal approach. I have to go upstairs and get some fresh tea.
Okay, Grace, Johnny's not here.
What? I don't think his sinuses could stand having a mother who is not married and gonna have a baby who is drunk.
We're not drunk. We just had a couple of martinis to celebrate.
Oh!
Grazie alla mia!
What are you doing here?
I was sent for.
Oh!
You must be Janice, Hey, how do you stand him?
I have a good memory.
Good for you. So you had a couple of martinis, huh?
Less than 2, 4.
Oh!
The baby's due any minute.
Huh?
The doctor says you two must have miscalculated.
It couldn't have been Christmas. It must have been Halloween.
Oh, Halloween! Look at that most beautiful thing in the world. Pregnant woman's profile, man.
Will you take your hands off my mother and let her carry her shame with a little dignity?
Her shame?
You didn't exactly create the Taj Mahal, you know. I think we better begin the meeting.
What do you mean, her shame?
You don't call impregnating a middle-aged woman fun and games, or do you?
Her shame?
Fabrizio,
Huh?
sediamo per favore, cara mio.
Porteo, Maria, Santana, Porteo.
Speak English! Damn it, you're not middling now! Mother, have you been drinking?
Did you say we're having a meeting?
Yes, sit down.
Am I the prisoner again?
You have been drinking.
I had a couple of martinis. Martinellis. Dean Martinelli.
Did you ever stop to consider that your present condition might be due to martinis?
Wrong! Randy Alexander!
Now then,
Whose deal is it?
We never get funny at these meetings, amore.
Mother, damn it.
I've got your zipper down.
Isn't she beautiful when she laughs, huh?
The sight of my mother in that condition, and in this condition, is frankly revolting, Mr. Bastanante.
Bastamente! How did you ever reach me in San Francisco? You can't even pronounce my name.
They have a special operator for foreigners.
You stop that. Fabrizio is as American as you are, and I'm very fond of him.
Anybody could see that from across the street.
He's right, my love. You're getting bigger by the minute. Hey, any milk yet?
Hello? No bother at all, Woody.
The way the meeting's going, I thought you folks could use some coffee. Don't put any cream in yours. From what I hear, cream and gin don't mix.
Oh, Mrs. Olson never made coffee like this.
No hospital for you, huh, Woody? Listen, I hear those trusses can be a great comfort. Right. Take care. Bye. For making that commercial, I want an early breakfast, Janice. I have to be at the studio at 8 o'clock sharp.
Write that down, Janice.
Mother, look at me. Now, I want you to concentrate, because what I am about to say is very important. Now, what you've done is wrong, but it's behind us. It's hurt us and it has affected us. But it's behind us. Mother, what are you doing?
There's nobody behind us.
Mr. Bustamante, will you do something with her?
He's already done.
Oh, I think we better listen to him, Cara. He's starting to hyperventilate. Okay, shoot.
Don't tempt me. This morning I was on the phone to my attorneys at great length. So, if you think that you can weasel out of your responsibilities to my mother, you are sadly misinformed, Mr. Bustamante.
Isn't that nice? Johnny got your name right,
Yeah.
Now, drink some more coffee so you can follow what I'm about to say.
Right. You know what's great about this coffee? No caffeine.
Now, this letter will outline my legal position in this matter, Mr. Bustamante. Under California law, there are 6 ways I can nail you to the wall.
I am the father of the child.
These kind of tactics will get you nowhere.
John, he said he was the father of the child.
That took the wind out of your snails, huh, Johnny? The wind out of your whales.
Well, this is better. We fell off the track there, but now we're right back on. Let's see, there's a 3-day wait for blood tests. Maybe I can get Father Mitchell to do something to expedite that.
I have no intention of marrying your mother.
Good. We can have the wedding in a chapel. No better yet, right here. Mother,
Who's
come
getting
downstairs.
married?
Hey, don't you listen the first time people talk, kid?
Even when he was little, we hadn't allowed at him a shot.
What?
Shout at him a lot.
Oh.
Drink some more coffee, Mother. You're not going to marry my mother, is that what you said?
That's right. I love her too much for that.
Now that is the cliche of all time. Kids say that to each other in the back seats of cars. You people nowadays think you can indulge yourselves having sex with every Tom, Dick, or Harry.
Hey, not me, baby. You got the wrong guy.
John is very good with parallels.
Janice, damn it. You make a mess and you walk away from it by saying something trite, like, I love her too much. Well, what do you think of your top-of-the-mark lover now, Mother?
He's swell. And I'm not going to marry him because I love him too much.
They must mean it, honey. They're both using the same cliches.
Is that it, Mother? Is that all you have to say?
Just one more thing to say. I'm going upstairs and throw up.
You're not going anywhere until this thing is settled.
I'll stay downstairs and throw up.
You're going upstairs and throwing up.
It's all right for Prisha. I'll take care of her.
Buone notte, cara mia.
Buonanotte, mio gallo ansioso. Voila!
Where do you think you're going?
I'm going out to my car to get my suitcase. Because if that baby is going to be born any minute, I want to be here to make sure that you don't try to drown it. That is the second most revolting thing in this room.
She'll be all right, John. But how can you treat your own mother that way? What are you looking up now?
I want to find out what she keeps calling that mafia finger painter. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Well, what is it?
My mother, who's a member of the Third Order of St. Francis and is entitled to be buried in a habit. She calls him
Calls him what?
her anxious rooster. And believe me, I cleaned that up.
don't get up.
I'm glad you came down, darling. Your son's art collection was keeping me awake.
I couldn't sleep either. For instance, so many weird things going through my head.
Huh?
I wondered if the baby was born tonight. Could it be born drunk?
You are a nut.
Fabrizio, we really do have a problem.
Yes, I know. He's a sanctimonious little creep, isn't he?
Not Johnny, the baby.
Oh, what about the baby?
Well, Johnny has a plan.
Oh, you had a meeting upstairs, huh?
Honey, don't be like that. Johnny's got it all figured out. I go into St. Anne's Maternity Hospital right away.
St. Anne's a what?
It's a home for wayward girls.
May I say something?
Of course, darling.
Your son is a first-class little twit.
Oh, no, he's not, Fabrizio. He's a lot older and wiser than we
Yeah.
are. St. Anne's is a perfect place to have a baby. It's run by nuns, it's a Catholic hospital, and after the baby is born, well,
They raffle it off.
honey, Johnny and Janice have agreed to take the baby and raise it as their own.
Got any Pepto-Bismol? Suddenly I've developed a bleeding ulcer.
What else can we do?
I'll marry you.
Oh, Fabrizio.
Well, maybe we should have had the baby taken care of, huh?
You cry when a flower dies.
Well, only the pretty ones.
Look, Carl, we don't have that piece of paper everybody's talking about. No marriage, no contract. You go to Rome and London to your art shows, and I'll have something to remember you by.
Yeah, well, a live baby isn't exactly an ashtray from the top of the mark.
Fabrizio, are you ready for diapers?
Huh?
Can you handle report cards and parents' meetings and pimples?
Pimples? Kid won't have pimples till he's 15.
Oh,
Why, then I'll be too old to see him.
you see?
Grace, don't talk to me like I was some sort of a second-class adolescent.
You are. Fabrizio, you are a 52-year-old juvenile delinquent.
I won't be 52 until January. So you think we ought to let the little twit have the baby, huh?
Yes, Johnny's not a bad man. Underneath his thoughts are warm and kind and loving and good.
I don't know.
Ah! I caught you. I caught you, Mother. You gave me your word of honor that you wouldn't sneak down here.
That didn't count, Johnny. I was drunk at the time.
You two ought to be ashamed of yourselves. I mean, really ashamed. With your innocent little grandson not 50 feet away. And... what are you wearing under there?
Pajamas, you filthy-minded little weasel!
Johnny, will you stop acting like an outraged father? I just came down to tell Fabrizio about your plans for the baby.
Oh. Well, even you can see it's the only sensible way to go, Bustamante.
Suddenly I'm not so sure.
Look at the advantages. Janice and I will raise him up as our own. He will attend the best schools, have the right religious upbringing. He'll have our name. And he'll have all this.
My God, he'll be an artistic mutation.
Fabrizio.
I've just about had it with this evangelist coming down here telling me how he's going to raise my kid. You self-righteous little creep. I got a good mind to belt you in the mouth.
Watch it, fella. I play a lot of handball.
Oh, you're scaring me to death. Grace, I think I'll teach this kid a lesson.
Oh,
Oh, Grace!
I'm sorry, Mother. It's my fault.
Don't cry, Cara. Please don't cry. Look, I'll say something nice to him, okay?
well?
I'm thinking. You want to shake hands?
Not right this minute.
Johnny, you shake hands with him this instant or I'll send you up to your room. What am I saying?
Mother, I'm under a tremendous emotional strain. It's not every day you go through the process of adopting your own brother.
Hey, you shake hands with me right now, you little creep. I'm gonna belt you, handball or no handball. There, we shook hands.
I saw, like a mongoose and a snake.
Yeah, guess which one is a snake?
Good night.
Oh, no, Carter, wait. Listen, we shake hands again. This time we mean it, right, kid?
Of course. I've made the adjustment. Mr. Bustamante, perhaps I've made an error in judgment and... What the hell are you wearing?
Oh, Dad, it's a kind of a little joke. It says, what you see is what you get, huh?
What it says. Mother, how could you ever have anything to do with a man who wears such childish pajamas?
I gave them to him when we were in Las Vegas.
I think you better get a sniffer.
Mother, kindly go upstairs.
Johnny.
Oh, do it, honey. We'll be all right.
Somehow I can't imagine Irene Dunn getting ever into a mess like this.
Good night, Mother.
Good night.
Mr. Bustamante, we're going to have a little talk.
Oh, shall I get the card table?
I have given you every opportunity to marry my mother, and will you cover up those silly pajamas? And you've refused. All right. Now I take off the velvet glove. You know what comes next?
We play handball.
You'll be smirking out of the other side of that Italian mouth of yours when I get through. After that child is born, I don't want you to come near this house again. You understand? That child is mine. You will know my wife as his mother and me his only father.
Right.
You people are all alike. That's the type of attitude that you take. Right. Did you say right?
Before you made your grand entrance, Grace and I had a little talk. You didn't have to go through the preamble to the Constitution to make your point, you puffed up little clown. The baby is yours. Legally, any way you want it, all yours.
Good. So long as we understand each other. Good night. Oh, if you renege on this, remember one thing. You're not only fighting me, you're fighting DuPont and my lawyers. Kaplan, Berkowitz, Livingston, and Sullivan.
That's crazy. DuPont, DuPont, do-do, do-do, donut, dum-dum, dee-dee, die-dee, do-do, poo-poo. DuPont, 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 DuPont.
What are you doing?
It's a little joke I'm playing on somebody. Isn't it time for all self-respecting monsters to be in bed?
Yeah.
You do this often?
Sure. It's fair on TV.
It is, huh?
You get to make up your own pictures.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. What's the mask for?
So I can pretend somebody else is watching the fire.
Well, why do you have to pretend that?
In case people think it's dumb.
Hey, well, I don't think it's dumb.
You don't?
Nah, come on, take it off. That's better. Hey, what do you see in the fire now, huh?
A castle.
A castle. Oh, right there in the corner, huh? Hey, you see the dragon? What about the lady in the tower, huh?
I don't see any lady, but I sure see that dragon. And it's breathing fire.
Yeah. Hey, shall I change the channel?
Huh?
Here, like this. There, what do you see now?
Looks like an angel.
An angel, huh? Hey, what's she doing?
It's a he.
Sorry, I didn't notice that. What's he doing?
Flying around with the football. Change the channel again, Mr. Bustamante.
Hey, come on. You call me Uncle Fabrizio, huh?
I can't say that. Even worse than I can't say Mr. Bustamante.
Okay, one channel change coming up.
My dad might hear us.
So what?
He'll make me go out and throw the football.
Oh, that's why you sneak down here to watch the fire, huh?
Mm-hmm. My dad caught me doing it once.
He did? Hey, what happened?
He took me to a guy in Beverly Hills that wanted to stick pins in my head.
That's it! Everybody up, let's go!
What's the matter?
Hey, you think you saw a dragon in there? You're going to see a real dragon. Now, everybody up! Let's go, everybody! new deal. Grace, you and I are getting married.
Why? I mean, what made you change your mind?
That son of a bitch isn't going to raise any kid of mine.
Grover, you can look at x-rays anytime. It's really getting exciting around here. Well, for one thing, the mister pulled some strings. So the mom and the boyfriend are running around downtown getting the license. The wedding's 15 minutes behind schedule now, and them DuPont broads are due here at 1 o'clock for lunch. Oh, boy, if they walk in during the wedding, we're going to be eating chicken chow mein for a month around here. Huh? Yeah, they're going to have the wedding right here. Well, sure, the priest in the parlor now putting on his dress.
But Father, you can't mean that.
Janice, I realize the church is changing. I put up with the steel drum mass and group confession. But my dear, in all good conscience, I cannot marry those two people.
But Father, they want to get married.
Yes, but why? Why do they suddenly need this marriage?
Because, excuse the expression, Fabrizio can't stand Johnny's guts.
You see, that's hardly a reason for marriage. Has anyone mentioned love?
They're very fond of each other. They really are.
I don't want to sound like a stuffy priest, Janice, but fond just isn't enough. I suddenly came to the realization this whole wedding sounds like it's for the greater glory of DuPont. And I think you'll agree with me.
Well, maybe, but... Oh, my God, what are we going to tell Johnny? He had everything all worked out.
I don't mean to be an ecclesiastical name dropper, Janice, but so did Judas.
I'm home. Let's get going. Janice, Fabrizio's car is in the driveway. Where the hell are they? Father, what are you standing around for?
John, Father has something to tell you.
While Father's getting ready, I've got to check these pronunciations again. We get to the words this afternoon.
Well, didn't you finish the commercial?
Finish? We haven't even taken the first shot yet. The goddamn cat wouldn't eat the goddamn cat food. Sorry, Father.
DuPont, DuPont. Do. Dodo. Donut.
Funny Italian. It's that kind of sense of humor that wrecked Mussolini.
John, would you stop running around?
One
Father
quick call.
has something to tell you.
One quick call. The stupid trainer fed the cat last night. That's why I wouldn't eat. Father, hadn't you better get your stole on? We're cutting it pretty close as it is. Stage 3. We've got half the stage crew running up alleys looking for starved cats. Let me speak to Harvey Stoner. He's the goddamn director. I'm sorry, Father. It's Mr. O'Connell from DuPont. That made him jump. Father, why don't you get Kevin to help you set up the altar?
Because Kevin's in school and Father has something to tell you.
Harv, O'Connell. Listen, I've got a little business to clean up here, but I'll be back there in a little while. Now then, I don't want anybody pronouncing DuPont into a mic until I get there. Right. Talk to you later. Now let's get going. What's everybody standing around for?
John, I think you better sit down.
Why?
Because Father has something to tell you.
John, I cannot marry your mother and Mr. Bustamante.
He says you can't marry your mother and...
I know what he said. And I want to know why you, the pastor of my church, who's supposed to be the shepherd of the flock, is telling me, a practicing Catholic and past president of the Holy Name Society, that he won't marry my mother and her lover and her friend.
John, I see no evidence of love here. And to marry two people who are not truly in love is against all theological principle, as well as a violation of canon law.
Who the hell are you to stand there and talk about religion?
I think he's qualified.
All right. It's behind us, and I'm sorry. Look, Father, I don't like to bring this up because I'm a gentleman, but may I remind you of a $5,000 stained glass window I donated to your church?
John, I don't like to bring this up because I'm a gentleman too, but it was just a pledge.
Listen, Father, you're coming out like a wise
Hey,
guy.
everybody, here we are. We got it. Hey, for a while, I didn't think we were going to make it. Your mama was twinging in the car.
It must have been the chili we had an early lunch at a Mexican restaurant called a Pepper Pot.
That was no chili, Cara. That was our baby. Hey, Johnny, that kid is about that far from home plate, huh? Hi, Father. Honey, you sit down over here, get nice and comfortable. Daddy, get you a blanket, okay, honey?
Oh, sweet, he's spoiling me and we're not even married yet.
I think you can open these now, too, huh?
Fabrizio. You remembered. Oh. On our very first date, he... What's the matter?
Guess who's suddenly bringing up canon law?
What?
Guess who isn't going to perform the ceremony?
Huh?
And guess who's also blowing a $5,000 stained glass window?
You're wrong, John. You can keep the stained glass window, but I am going to perform the ceremony.
Then why did we have to go through all that stuff about theological principles?
John,
I've just seen a demonstration of love and concern and affection that I haven't seen for a long time. It reminds me of a similar incident way back when I was stationed at San Juan.
Listen, Father, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Janice has her luncheon and I've got to get back to the studio.
provided they find the starving cats.
How are you feeling, darling, huh?
Compared to what?
We'll need a witness, someone who is not a member of the immediate family.
Janice, get Leona in here and hurry.
Well, she's in the kitchen making that luncheon for those two pot women.
She can be a witness between courses. Leona! Listen, Father, we're right up against the gun. Can't you move it a little faster?
This is my store, John.
Johnny, will you stop treating my wedding like a track meet?
Now look, Father, I don't want to listen to...
Fabrizio,
Yeah?
would you please stand right over here?
Over there, okay.
Grace, would you please stand over there right next to him? Janice, over there, please. John, over there. Leona, my dear, during the ceremony, would you please stand right over here?
Father, honey, I'm a Baptist.
That's all right, you no longer care about that?
Well, maybe you don't, but ecumenical ain't made it down to the tabernacle yet.
You're just a witness. Hit it, Father.
This is about as romantic as a mortgage foreclosure.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God.
Father, can we skip all that dearly beloved jazz? I was supposed to have been on the set 10 minutes ago.
Don't skip anything, Father. This is my wedding and I'm going first class.
John, I've had just about enough out of you. Think of your mother's happiness and have some respect for the sacrament I'm performing here.
I'm sorry, Father.
Ooh.
I'm just a little upset.
And you're upsetting your mother.
Are we ready?
I've been to steadier funerals.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God to join this man and this woman in holy matrimony. Marriage is a sacrament instituted by God for the happiness and the welfare of all mankind. And so, in the presence of those gathered here, I ask you to state your intention.
Hallelujah.
Do you, Fabrizio, take Grace to be your lawful wife, to have you to hold, from this day forward, in sickness and in health?
Just say I do!
Am I taking orders from him or from you?
Please, just say I do.
I do.
And do you, Grace, take Fabrizio?
Oh, Jesus!
Not now.
Hello? I thought I told you not to shoot anything till I got there. A dog ate the cat food? What the hell is a dog doing there? Never mind, don't answer that. I'll call you right back.
John, the wedding.
Mother, say I do. I've got to get back to the studio. We've just had a disaster.
I can't say I do till Father asks me, Johnny.
Do you, Grace, take Fabrizio to be your lawful husband, to have you to hold?
Maybe it's the chili.
No.
Mother, say I do quick.
I can't say I do. The baby's coming.
If you can say the baby's coming, you can say I do.
Get him out of here before I kill him.
John, run upstairs and get some blankets. Leona, go across the street and get Dr. Singer. He's a nose and throat man.
Good thinking. It'll throw the neighbors off. Mother! I do.
Grace, are you sure the baby is strong?
Something's on its way. It's either the baby or the world's largest kidney stone.
Isn't that great, all that pain, and she can still joke, huh?
You know, John's right. If you can make jokes, you can surely say I do.
I do.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Oh. We better get Mother into the back room before the ladies will be
Dr. Singer's up in the mountains skiing, but his mother says to have her gargle with salt water. Oh my God, the frickin' chow main's going up in smoke!
Oh, ladies, may I present my son and my daughter-in-law? Oh, and this is our pastor, Father Mitchell, and the gentleman and I on the phone. Oh, we're just married, and I'd offer you a cocktail, but I'm having
me, Grover. I'm going to work for Mrs. O'Connell over at her folks. Because she's leaving him. Oh, Grover, don't start that again. I like that girl and her little boy, and I'm going to help them out. And every once in a while, I'm going up to San Francisco and take care of the Bustamante baby. His name is Marcella. Listen, you ever hear of an Italian pronouncing anything right? Hey, I'll talk to you later, okay? I gotta go upstairs and put a couple of blotters on that baby. Isn't it nice to be able to see your feet again?
It's even nice to have stretch marks again.
She really leaving him?
Yes. But how did you know up to now? I thought it was a family secret.
Well, two things. The heat vents and those suitcases. I'm already packed too.
Leona's leaving too. She's already packed. Are you sure you want to go through with this, Janet?
I'm sure. What do you think, Mother? Should I leave one of those notes like they do in the movies?
You may have to. Johnny's still down at the office waiting for the axe to fall.
Do you see what I mean about him? A dog eats the cat food, and he acts like the Russians just took over Hollywood Boulevard.
Well, it's a little more to it than just that. The dog bit the producer.
Oh.
In 4 places. One on the leg, one on the thigh, and 2 we can't even talk about.
Still, Johnny can fix the commercial.
Well, to quote him, that'd be like putting a Band-Aid on a leper. Honey, before you walk out on 10 years
Hey,
of
guess what
marriage-
our little son just did? He smiled at me. Leona said it was gas, but what does she know about Italian babies, huh? Bad timing?
Janice is leaving Johnny.
Oh, hey. Look, normally I'd be the first one to say leave a little quick, right? But what's he done that's so bad? A lot of guys are scared to death of their bosses, so he catered a little bit. Well, he overreacted when he found out his mama was pregnant. Any son would do that, right? I'll admit he shouldn't have called the priest a wise guy. But that's Johnny, right? Makes the kid play football instead of watching the fire. All his damn meetings, he called me a rapist. I'll help you pack.
Nice try, honey, but she's already packed.
Okay, I'm gonna get the car checked out. You guys be ready when I get back.
Fabrizio, no.
I'm gonna drop this in a ravine. That's the least I can do for Rodin and the Plumbers Union. Arrivederci.
Janice, before you actually walk out on Johnny, maybe if the both of you took a little vacation together.
Vacation? Do you know what a vacation with John is like? First, we have a fight with the hotel manager because he insists he purposely gave us the wrong room. Then he bribes the head waiter and complains that our table is too close to the men's room. Then he gets worried about being stuck with the wrong people on the beach. It's the same with golf. We had to leave Nassau because they got into a foursome with a busboy. We had to leave Palm Springs because they gave Agnew his starting time. Status isn't a word with John, it's a religion.
Maybe if you sat Johnny down and you talked to him, you'd get absolutely no place.
Mother, we buy these stupid things by the dozens.
Well, I did my mother bit. I guess that's it, huh?
Grace, when Fabrizio gets back, will you drop Leona and Kevin and me off at my folks' house?
Oh, sure.
I just can't face Johnny and tell him I'm leaving him.
I wouldn't worry about it. He'll notice you're missing sooner or later.
Still, if he gets here before I go, would you tell him?
Oh, why not? I had to tell him there wasn't any Santa Claus.
Well, little Marcella's going to sleep for another half an hour or so. I've got Kevin watching him.
I put 3 diapers on that baby. He shouldn't get soggy on you until way the other side of Bakersfield.
It's not Marcella, it's Marcello. I guess we'll be calling him Mark.
Oh, good. I had to check his booties to make sure he was a boy. I'm gonna fix us a little snack. I want the comfort of knowing we walked out on Mr. O'Connell on a full stomach.
Johnny, Janice was going to leave you a note, but no. Well, maybe it won't be all that bad, son. You can rent out all the rooms and, Leona, get out the teacups.
Kevin, what are you doing in broad daylight looking into the fireplace?
I'm trying to figure out where that dragon went.
After the morning I've had, I have to come home to a son who stares into a dead fireplace looking at dead dragons. What are you wearing your first communion suit for on a Wednesday?
Mama told
Don't
me.
talk back to me, young man, or we'll take another little trip to see that man in Beverly Hills. Janice! Where's Janice?
Upstairs, Johnny. She's leaving you.
In the absence of my wife, will you kindly tell me why my son's all dressed up on a Wednesday?
Kevin, honey, go upstairs.
Move it, Kevin. That boy's getting way out of hand.
I thought you were at the office.
You thought I was at the office. You thought I was at the office.
Should I make that out some other way?
You may as well know. Janice may as well know. Everybody may as well know. Mother, it's over at DuPont.
What happened?
Nothing happened.
Nothing.
Silence. They use silence as a weapon. They destroy you with it. Remember Elmer Ulrich?
No.
Of course you do. He's the one who married the heiress.
All right, what about Albert?
After he screwed up her father's account, they let him sit in his office eating stale sandwiches for 6 solid days. On the 4th day, he got a twitch. Silence. Then the phone call came. 1 word. Grand Forks.
Isn't that 2 words?
Mother, there's nothing worse than a middle-aged woman trying to be cute. Anyway, the commercials go on from Woody to Marsh, right up through channels. I'll guarantee you that right now it's on the 15th floor.
I know, up there where the carpets start. John, if you were so concerned, why didn't you call them?
Mother, don't you know anything about business? You don't call them, they call you.
Well, last week, didn't you call about Woody's hernia?
Calling about a cat food catastrophe and calling to make small talk about a hernia is not in the same ballpark. Where'd you say Janice was?
It's the phone.
I know it's the phone. You know, Mother, I blame this whole situation on you.
Naturally.
If you hadn't had the baby right in the middle of the commercial, none of this would have happened.
Are you going to answer that phone, or am I going to have to answer and tell them that you can't answer because you're sniffing yourself into a coma?
I'll answer it. I'll answer it. Hello? No, Kevin can't come out and play doctor. Get your mother to take your temperature, you dirty little girl. Janice has got to do something about that kid. I got to run up to my eyeballs. Leaving? Did you say something about Janice leaving?
Fabrizio was right. You never hear anything the first time around, do you?
Mother, don't get emotionally disturbed. You're the one that's leaving.
Johnny, we're all leaving. Fabrizio and I are going back to San Francisco. Janet and Kevin and Leona are going to Pasadena.
You said something to upset her.
Will you just listen to me? Janice is leaving you. Spiritually, socially, morally, financially, sexually, and permanently.
Why? What did I do?
a Jekyll and Hyde. You're a Hyde and Hyde.
Well. Isn't this a fine attitude for a mother to take? I suppose you didn't even try and talk her out of it.
No.
No?
I made some motherly gestures, but my heart wasn't in it.
Oh, look whose heart wasn't in it. I took her in. I hid her disgrace. I got her paramour to marry her. Allowed her to have her child in my home. I sacrificed myself.
And on the third day, he rose from the dead.
Mother, I won't say what I'm thinking.
Good.
Yes, I will. Mother, you have absolutely no judgment when it comes to men. Papa was a dreamer, and this one's a painter. Why can't you think in terms of a rich executive?
Like you? Johnny, have you taken a good look at yourself in a mirror? I mean a real good look.
Yes. And you know what I see? I see the youngest vice president in the history of DuPont.
And do you know what I see? I see a pompous, bigoted, sniveling, cowardly, knuckling under little jerk.
Mother,
Don't interrupt me, I'm rolling now. I see a man who's so afraid of failure that he blames everything on his wife, his mother, his son, the church, God, the Republican Party. Johnny, you're not a man. You're an Irish wailing wall.
Mother, you don't understand diplomacy.
Diplomacy, hell. Johnny, you're nothing but a DuPont doormat.
Mother, you just don't understand me, or you wouldn't use a phrase like DuPont doormat. I am not now, nor have I ever been. Oh my God, this is it, I know it is.
Johnny, just talk to them like you talk to the little girl. Get tough.
Are you crazy? Hello? Woody, how's things? You got the film, huh? What did they say on the 15th floor? Are you telling me that they literally vomited? Oh, well, close doesn't count. No, Woody, I'm not trying to be smart. I realize the company doesn't expect the vice president to follow it, but may I explain how it came about? Why not? Then, Woody, as a personal favor to me, will you just listen? Then, in view of my 10-year service to the company, will you listen? Please, Woody. Marsh, is that you on the line, too? How's the family? Marsh, I'm always interested. Please, guys, let me explain. I just wasn't there when the dog... Well, I'm trying to tell you why the hell I wasn't on the set when the dog ate the... We had a crisis here at home. Well, if you heard about my mother's baby, surely you must understand.
I wouldn't count on it.
Look, okay, I'll take all the blame. Marsh, when your voice gets loud like that, it distorts. What did you say? Marsh, I don't think it's fair to call a 10-year man a pea-brain. Look, fellas, all I can say is that I'm very, 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 very sorry. Woody Marsh, you aren't listening. I said I was very, very... Hold on a minute.
Get tough.
Woody? Marsh? Both still on? Shove it. No, there's nobody else on the line. That was me, and I said, shove it. The job, the vice presidency, the 10 years of slavery. Shove it, Alice. That's S-H-O-V-E-I-T. And if that's not clear enough, I'll phrase it another way. You want a memo on it? Get yourself another doormat. No, Marsh, I haven't finished. You tell that fat wife of yours when she comes up here to never, never use my name at Chasen's. And Woody, I hope that hernia of yours That everlasting hernia of yours blows right up in the middle of a board meeting.
Mary, Mother of God, it's a miracle.
Wasn't I great?
You were doing Oh, I gotta hand it to you, Mr. O'Connell.
You should have heard what I just told him on the
I
line.
heard. I like that bit about the fat wife. Oh, that's hitting him where he lives. And he gave Shop it a whole new meaning.
How'd you guys like the hernia thing?
Mr. O'Connor, I've been working with people all my life, and when you quit with class. Would you folks like coffee or milk with your sandwiches?
We want booze with our sandwiches, right, Mother?
Right. Okay, I'll get out the teacups.
Leona, we're going all the way. Get out the glasses. Janice, and make one for yourself.
I always do.
Honey, come down here. You'll never believe what happened. She'll never believe it, will she, Mother?
Well, what happened?
Woody just called.
He did?
And Marshall's on the line, too. And you'll flip right out of the back of your head when you hear what happened.
Well, what happened?
I quit. I did something I should have done years ago. I told off Woody, and I told off Marsh.
Oh, how great! You actually quit! I haven't been so proud of him since the second grade when he got an extra pedal on his courtesy daisy.
It was cool. Did you get to the part where you told that man to go bust his hernia? You said that to Marsh?
No, dear, the hernia belongs to Woody. Marsh is the one with the fat wife.
Ladies, here's to freedom.
I'll drink to that. And now I'll go get that baby ready before I get stoned out of my bird.
You know what else I told him? I told him that he... Kevin, come down here.
But, Daddy, I wasn't doing anything.
I know, I want to talk with you. Kevin? Go stare at the fire.
Huh?
Honey, your father wants you to go stare at the fire.
Isn't it kind of early to go stare at the fire?
That's an order, son.
It's not lit.
We'll light it. And Kevin, from now on you can stare at it all you want to. And you can see all the fairies you want to. After all, Walt Disney did do a lot better than Joe Namath.
Kevin, is there something else you'd rather do?
I thought I'd go out and throw the football or something.
Ah, you don't even have to do that. You can go upstairs and watch television on our color stuff.
Hey, Nate!
I'll fix us another drink. I've got the good stuff stashed away. Now, let's see. There's one for Woody, and one for Marsh, and one for that dirty little girl who lives down the lane.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Right. It's too sudden. People don't make this big a conversion right out of the blue.
Well, St. Paul did. No, he didn't play fair. He had a vision.
John never does anything this fast. Well, it took him 3 years to reject his crew cut.
Come to think of it, he didn't give up his whoop-whoop till he got to UCLA.
Clean up later. You two help yourselves to the booze. You know, I wonder how Woody and Marsh are going to translate shove it into an interoffice memo.
Oh, John, you better call Father Mitchell. We can't afford that stained glass window if we don't have a job.
Don't we?
Do you?
The minute I knew the commercial was a disaster, I started laying a little pipe.
I'll tell Fabrizio to come in.
Oh, no, wait just a minute, Janice. I want to hear a little more about the little pipe.
I put out some feelers. Mother, you may not know it, but Anaconda Copper has been after me.
And? Johnny, will you kindly answer my and?
And I had lunch with one of their biggies, Stewie Norton.
You know, this is like solving a Sherlock Holmes mystery. What about Stewie Norton?
Made me an offer. Practically the same deal I had at DuPont.
Do you mean to tell me that you've had a job lined up all this time?
John Francis O'Connell does not cut himself right off in the middle of a limb. Right in the middle of that phone call, I decided to accept Stewie's offer. Great, huh? Yeah.
Oh, John, you'll never change.
It's a much looser company, Janice. I'm sure we'll fit right in. I told Stewie you probably want to throw a little luncheon for the girls. Mother, why don't you fly up for it now that you're out of the woods?
Thank you.
That's okay. But you better leave Bustamante in Frisco. We don't want to push our luck with the new company.
I'll tie him to a cable car.
John, I am leaving now.
Good, good. You know, I hear there's a lot of jealousy between departments at Anaconda.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Well, you can't win them all, but you can't lose them all either, Leo.
I'll tell Mr. Busted Mentee you'll be right out.
Anaconda. Or is it anaconda? I better get some fresh tapes.
Johnny, do me a favor. Call an electrician and have your ears wired to your brain.
Anaconda!
And if you ever get your brain wired to your heart, there just might be some hope for you. Oh, well, little top of the mark. And how are you going to turn out? With an inflexible brother, and a nephew who sees fairies in the fire, and a father who's sure to paint you in the nude, and a mother with a flat fanny. Oh, it's going to be quite a life.